Good morning, everyone. So, as usual, let's begin the day with 1 minute of silence. All right. So, if you're ready, you can come back to the session. All right. First of all, I want to start the day with thank you so much. Thank you, every one of you. Because of you, today we reached the 21st day. I mean, we're completing the journey of 21 days today. And I'm completely grateful to you all. Thank you so much for joining me in this. Right. So we will discuss more on how we can take the journey towards the end of the session today. So to start with, so obviously I shared the topics what we're going to discuss. So the first one is happiness for no reason. So the first thing that I want you to just take a moment to think about is, what is our natural state? Is it happiness or unhappiness? Just give it a thought. Take a moment to reflect, what is our natural state of being? Is it
Yes, yes. Of course, it is happiness.
right, Dhanaj? Thanks. Just contemplate on that. Just a minute. What is our natural state? Right? Right. So people, I mean, like Tanaji said, happiness is the natural state of mind. However, most often what happens is we search for a happiness. It is something we can have to go and get it from somewhere, someone, by some doing something, we have to get the happiness, right? So it is something we have to attain or get. So that is where it is also makes so funny that when people say that I lost happiness in my life, as if they lost it somewhere and then they can search and find it once more, right? So or when people say that I need a peaceful state or I need stillness or anything like that, it is as if we can go and buy it from somewhere or get it by from somewhere. So the natural state itself is, when you're talking about as a happiness, it is there, right? So how we normalize that being unhappy is okay is it starts very deep from our childhood. But then before we going there, it is important to understand that we all have that place of stillness or happiness or a joyful place within all of us, right? We don't need to search. And that is what we're going to discuss in the coming, for quickly we will discuss what it is and how we can be happy for no reason, and what if there is nothing wrong with us. So as you all know that so when you see a child, and obviously the first thing that comes to us, the child is happy, the baby is happy. So obviously they also go through the physical discomfort. Obviously I've seen two kids, so they go through physical discomfort and then they cry. I mean, most of their early, the first few days they cry, but then they're also sweetly giggle and laugh for no reason. You don't have to do anything. You will see the baby lying next to you, and then the baby will be smiling and giggling. And sometimes the grandparents, they come and say, they may have a they play with gods. Actually, that's what they say, right? So why they giggle? There is no reason, and then we don't understand why. So what they say is, they actually, the gods come and entertain the baby. And that's why the baby is in a mode of the playfulness, joyfulness, blissful state. And that is a natural state that we all wear, kind of. And what happens then? Then life starts happening. We started growing up slowly, year by year. And the first level of resistance comes in is the first level, the first question that you see is, if a child, for you and me, when we are at home or in the class or school, if you start laughing or smiling, they say, why are you smiling? Why are you laughing? Right? So the first thing people ask is that, as if they get offended if some kid is laughs at the teacher gets offended, right? They ask, why are you laughing? And you say, I'm just laughing for no reason. They'll say, are you mad? This is a question typically we get. And then when we're talking about going on with life, we also come across with a lot of conditioning saying that only crying baby gets attention, right? I mean, they say that only if you cry you will get something, if you don't cry you don't get it. And then they say that everything has to happen after an effort, you have to work for everything, everything needs some attention, I mean nothing comes free of cost. All these things we keep on saying to our own self, and we tend to believe that even happiness, it is something to get from outside. And that is when, even when we grow up, if you just say, I understand that naturally we all face a lot of life situation which challenges our inner state, I agree to that. But then the moment we work on those things, if there is something bothering me and then I just come out of it, what happens is the happiness become a very short-lived thing. We feel momentary happiness and then we go back to a different place. And then if you ask, are you not happy? They say, why I have to be happy? There's nothing happened. As if something else has to happen all the time. So that become our natural state. For everything, we start looking for unhappiness. Instead of looking for happiness, we start looking for unhappiness. So that being said, what happens next? So there is one thing, we all agree that whatever we practice, whatever we focus on, that becomes our second nature. So for an example, like we talked about unconscious, competent, and etc. We talked about the 4 stages and etc. So if you have to talk about very simply, if I want to say play piano, what I will say is I'm a newbie, I don't have any experience, and then they say, okay, so practice it for say a day. I mean, every day practice for an hour or 2 hours over a period of maybe 6 months or a year. You will be at a place where you can play a song, maybe, right? So you can practice it every day, 6 days a week. So that being said, we start practicing and certain skill to equip to do that. Likewise, what happens with our unhappiness? So when our natural focus is towards unhappiness, is what is wrong? There is something as to wrong with me. I cannot be happy. I have to get something. We constantly focus and practice unhappiness. So it is no wonder that why we feel unhappy all the time, and then why we have to search for happiness somewhere else, right? Just imagine this: we are consciously or unconsciously, we are practicing how to be unhappy. Just think for a moment, take a one slight moment. Are we practicing happiness? Are we practicing unhappiness in our life? So, yeah, Tanaji,
Yeah, we are trying for both.
you're trying for both. Yes.
Sometimes for happiness and sometimes for unhappiness.
Yes, yes, yes. So we're talking about trying for both. It is like happiness also, we have to get something, it is not it is something like this, right? So one side is happiness, the other side we fall fastest, we just momentarily live and then we go back to the state of unhappiness, and we have to practice or do something else, and then something else to happen to become happy. So that become a kind of our journey for most often, that is what the struggle we all face. And also obviously this is reinstated again and again and again by people parents, family, and society. All they talk about cause and effect, right? I mean, if you do this you will get this, if you don't do this you'll get punishment. Carrot and stick. The carrot and stick is very typical thing that everyone, including me, and talking about my kids. Okay, if you do your homework you'll get something, if you don't do your homework you don't get it. So that way I'm causing happiness as well as unhappiness, and I make it as, if you want something you should do something. So that way, even for the kids, we are trying to tell them that what is the natural way is not happiness, but it is a cause and effect. It is something you do and you get it, or else you don't get happiness, or you cannot be happy. So that is where I see most of these things. So even the whole inner stillness as a program, like, most of us, even for me, like, when I'm just starting right now, when I look at it, all I feel is this state of inner stillness or happiness. There's a the for no reason. Okay, I'm talking about when I say inner stillness, it is not an external blissful something that has to happen. It is already there. It is blissful. It is joyous. It is a state is there, and that is what somewhere I'm relating it as stillness. So it is for no reason, right? I mean, if I say that it has to come from something, then I'm putting a clause, and that is where I'm becoming a prisoner of. And that being said, what happens is most of us we want to try to run away from it and then seek inner stillness, happiness, peaceful in some way. And sometimes people renounce everything, and know that a lot of people they want to go as a monk or join some place, ashram or some place, and they want to devote their life to God. For what? I understand there's a spiritual quest. Maybe yes, that's a larger quest, larger meaning. But if you look at it primarily, most often they are seeking for only one thing, that is a place of inner happiness, which doesn't rely on something external, that is always within them, right? Just think for this moment, so we all need that inner happiness. So what happens further? So everywhere, like we are all seeking, we know that. And what is a deterrent to that? What is stopping us from being happy? Anyone wanted to say something? No? Okay.
Expectations. Our
Yeah.
expectation.
Expectations. Yes, Ram. So the expectation comes and kicks in our life, and obviously we start this has to happen for me to get happy. So we start looking at happiness as somewhere, something to be done or achieved, and some people external. So this is a very important thing is there is a place where we seek happiness within, and there is a way of getting from outside. And this is a very important thing. What I came across some time back is there is a difference between pleasure and happiness. Our being in joy itself is a state of inner being, but there is a distinguished or very distinct difference between pleasure and happiness. So the pleasure as a emotion, what we feel is it needs to engage some kind of a senses. When I say senses, obviously we're talking about a five senses. That is, I watch a movie, I feel happy. If I touch and feel some new phone, my iPhone or something, I feel happy. Or it has to happen with something else, something literally externally has to happen, that is sensory thing, and then that we makes us feel happy. It can be any kind of an addiction, TV shows, or the kids hugging us, everything, even the intimate relationship that gives us a pleasure. But then sometimes we mix these two and then make sure that the pleasure also gives us happiness. I'm sure, are you getting it? So there's a pleasure, it is sensory based thing, and then we are attached to happiness, and we say that all the pleasurable things brings me happiness. And the expectation, that Ram said, someone should do or act in some way. It can be from my son or my daughter, I mean, my kids, generally for me. And it can be from my family members, my wife, or from the society, people, friends, or some other thing. Something has to happen, or I have to go and pursue happiness. So what happens in this quest is most often our sense of happiness comes from completely sold concept. When I say sold concept or idea is the definitions, right? The overall definition of happiness versus unhappiness is we defined it so elaborately, so sophisticatedly. If you ask someone what will make you happy, they may have 100 steps to do before they get happy. And the same way, why you have to be unhappy, they'll say 1,000 reasons why to feel unhappy. My life is not good. My life is this. I am fat. I am not earning enough money. My career is hanging in a small thread, or my kids are not listening to me. Everything goes on and on and on and on. We have a huge list of unhappiness list. At the same time, we have need to attain so many things to become happy. So that is where even the goal setting, say I used to prepare a course called execution mastery that is primarily on goal setting and etc, right? So now if I look back the same course, I will feel like, man, how flawed that is idea is, right? So we say about goal setting, yes, that sounds good. I mean, we all need to set goals in some level. We need to work towards, because that gives us a direction and etc. I agree to that. But then if you're achieving or making the happiness as a goal driven thing, it is always you're going to feel like, or we going to feel unhappy most often, isn't it so? Right? So we are always driving the happiness from attain something, then you will feel happy. If you're happy for no reason, why? You didn't do anything, you didn't achieve anything, but then why are you happy? That becomes not a normal thing. That is why the society beat us completely to say that don't be happy, be unhappy. That is a natural state. To happy, you have to earn it. You have to do something and get it. If you like, if you're talking about your son has to marry, like your kids or someone has to behave good with you. You say, why? I have to do all these things. What have you done? Then only I'll be happy. If you do this, then I'll be happy. So it becomes like a cause and effect or something to do and get. So that is where it becomes so tricky. And that goes on, like, this list goes on and on when you're talking about your physical body. Like, being healthy is one thing. And we define the fit and six pack abs and like, nice things like curves as a one standard that we are to attain. If not, we are not good enough. We cannot be happy with our body. The same thing with career. Oh, if you attain this status, then you can be happy. If not, you cannot be happy. The same thing with finance. If you earned like millionaire or a multi-billionaire or something, then you can be happy. If not, you cannot be happy. So the society conditioned thing and advertisement. Just imagine, like all the time they say, if you have an iPhone, you can be happy. I own an iPhone, okay. So that, but doesn't mean that that is a part of it. This makes a happiness. But then we all driven by happiness in some form, right? Something that is we need to buy, get, hold to do things. So that becomes a root cause of things. That is what I feel like. That is completely, I see that's a flawed idea. Achieving some goal to get happiness? No. So what else? Like, what is a hampering thing is, as we're talking about ego, the ego and expectation comes in as, yes, I have to get so and so, then I'll be happy. The expectation. So this is a big circle of loops that we can go on and on and on. And one quick fact that remains the same is nobody can make us happy, right? Is there anybody can make us happy? I'm sure nobody can. Not your close friends, not your like your better half loved ones or a family member, society, your office boss, even anybody. Nobody can make us happy. Only we can make ourselves happy. So that being said, it is important to look for happiness or be in the place of happiness all the time. And how we can do it, it is as simple as that: by valuing our life and valuing this present moment, we can be happy. Of course, nothing like everything has to go up and down. Like the life situation do happen. I'm not denying that nothing happens, but then if we can be happy for no reason, right, then we reach somewhere some place of inner stillness, right? So I just, with this, like where I'm leading to is only one question for you today. What is your definition of happiness? That's all it is, right? So today, if I have to summarize this thing, what is your definition of happiness? Take a mental inventory of it. And then, like, if you say that this has to happen, that has to happen, check, is it really worth it? That's all. So check for the definition of happiness. I'm sure by examining that very root cause, you will find, oh, I don't need this. Why I have to be unhappy about it? Right? Automatically, you'll find some place of happiness within you. So that being said, let's quickly get into one quick other thing is, what if there is nothing wrong with you? So this is inspired by a, like a TED talk by Susan. I mean, Susan, I'll just share the link as well. So this is inspired by a TED talk. So primarily she's a psychotherapist. Yeah, Tanaji.
Yeah, I want to say that if there is no darkness, there is light. And
Yeah.
if there is no unhappiness, there is happiness.
Yep.
And if we are not suffering from anything, then we can get happiness all the time.
Yes.
Even now at this moment also, while listening to you, I get happiness. While breathing in and out, I get happiness.
Excellent.
Happiness is the state of mind
True.
that we can achieve.
True, Tanaji. So it is just that, I mean, as you rightly said, Tanaji, it is a state of mind. Just that sometimes we look for the wrong thing. Like, we practice unhappinesses. If you ask people what is wrong with you in their life, including me, okay, I'm just telling you when I'm saying that it is not somewhere I'm telling you that uh, I figured it all out. No, I am also in the quest. I am also questioning all these things and trying to figure out. In fact, I've been in the place for a very long time. For an example, for this kind of a conversation or what do you say, anything for me to speak, I used to beat myself. No, I haven't fixed my body yet. And how can I go in front of people and talk about all these things, right? I used to beat myself. I don't even want to go in front of people and talk. So I've been there. I mean, I still trying to overcome that. I'm not figured out all out, but then it is just somewhere within me. I know that there is a place which nothing has to happen, not my body, not my career, not my finances, not my family, not my kids, nothing. It is just being happy still. That is what I'm talking about. So yeah, let's go back to the what if there's nothing wrong with you. So this psychotherapist, she talks about, she's a pretty elderly lady, and she talks about her experience in all those psychotherapy and etc. So generally people come and say that, the huge list of things, what is wrong with my life, right? Obviously people seek that things because they wanted to say what is wrong with them, what is wrong with their life. And she used to listen day after day, every year she listens to new stories, and people come up with the stories of what is wrong. Nothing, I mean, it's not nothing is wrong, but then they come up with huge list of wrong. And of course she also acknowledges that people go through all these things, emotions. However, her thing is, what if there is nothing wrong with it? So yes, there are things that are happening, but what will you do by acknowledging it? Things are as it is, what is happening in your life as it is. But what if those things doesn't exist? Just imagine a possibility of a life which is exist without those things, right? So whole idea of her, whatever she talks about is, for a moment, for this time, for the next few minutes, what if there is nothing wrong with our life? What if there is nothing, absolutely nothing is wrong? What will you do? What is the possibility of you being happy or expressing yourself in a very unique way that is only you can express? So that is an idea that she talks about, right? That is so profound in a way, very therapeutic in a way. For me, when I came across this idea from another person, when another spiritual master. So when I heard it for the first time, I was like, yes, what if there is nothing wrong with me? What if my body, it is as it is? Nothing has to be wrong or nothing has to be changed for me to do anything. There is nothing wrong. If I accept it, what happens? And that opens up the whole lot of possibility to explore life as it is. That is where we are talking about starting to live each moment as it is. Nothing has to happen, right? Nothing. You don't have to go into meditative state to feel happy for 5 minutes and come out. No, nothing. Be there. That's what she talks about. And in fact, how she wraps up the things is she obviously she gives one example, she talks about, yeah, smoking, a person, a woman, she's addicted to smoking and she wants to quit smoking. She tries a lot of things, she goes to de-addiction part of it, or the kind of hypnotherapy for coming out of smoking. She must have tried a lot of things, and then she comes to the Susan. And the story goes like this is Susan says, okay, you're smoking, you want to quit smoking, but then, can you take out the story part of it? What is that? Is, oh, I am addicted to smoking, and smoking is making me all the consequences, be health wise, social anxiety, and etc. Take away all these things, and just one thing is, whenever you feel like smoking, just smoke. Right? There is nothing wrong with you smoking as well. Right? Smoke as if nothing wrong. Right? So what changed for her? I mean, from her experiences, when she allowed or asked the person to smoke as if there's nothing wrong, automatically she quit smoking after 6 days. Right? So there is no resistance to any of those thoughts. It's allowing yourself, fully allowing yourself to express your own self. Then there is no need to hold back to anything. So that is a profound thought for me at least. And she ends the whole thing, which I invite you to experience for a moment is, just say to yourself, like, you say it your name, like, Karthik, what if there is nothing wrong today, right? What if, Karthik, what if there is nothing wrong with me for today, right? Just repeat it probably with your name. Just close your eyes. Probably you can just repeat it for one time, like, just try to say it out. What do you feel? Just I want to know that. Close your eyes. Say your name. Say me, Karthik. What if there is nothing wrong with me today? What will I do? That's all. So this is a very beautiful practice itself. That we will go to the practice, and then we'll look at few other practices that what we can take away from the whole thing. Just give, sorry. I'm sorry. Yep. So yes. So this thing where we are starting is, what if there is nothing wrong with this, right? Everything is perfect as it is, like, that is accepting everything as it is and being there, nothing wrong. So that is a place I want to leave you with. And obviously, like, I will share this video, you can watch it, and then you can experience it yourself. What do you feel? So before that, like, let's go into few other practices that, and then I will go into one kind of a small not a small, it's going to be a 10 to 15 minutes meditation today. So let's go there. Before that, quickly I'll discuss few tools what we can use. So yesterday, last night, I was dreaming, and then I thought, okay, I'll share this with you. So if you ever want anything in your life, like, you want stillness or happiness, and I thought, okay, so it is nothing but it starts with the ABC, right? So ABC of happiness, ABC of stillness. So that is nothing but aware. Then B is for breathe. C is for calm down. Aware, breathe, calm down. So these are the ABCs, like, aware, breath, breathe, and calm down is. This I've seen very profound with my son, right? When I say talk about my son, so what happens is my son sometimes, like, he cries a lot, like, he cries for no reason, of course, like, but yeah, say he wants something, either he hurt himself by falling down or something, or he, like, he wants something, like, he want to buy some candy or something from the store. He will have a fight with his mom, and then he says, okay, I want this, can you get it, appa, my mom is not getting it, can you just get it? So you go through a lot of these things, or someone, like, tells something to him, and then he feels sad, and then he cries. So generally, first thing what I do is I hug him. Like, I just ask him, call him, like, Adit, come here. And then I'll just give him a big hug. Obviously, I'm a big guy, so I can give a big hug. Like they say it as a bear hug. I can do a bear hug to him. Like, literally take him inside. And of course, so that is for one simple reason is that those kind of a hug gives people a reassurance with who they are, right? So they're kind of reinstating their own inner self, their love, self-love, and etc. Then what I do with him is generally I ask him a question. What are you feeling? What are you experiencing now? Generally he says, I am sad. I am I'm experiencing pain, or I'm hurt, or I'm angry. Something he says, like, something like, if he just broke his balloon or something, he comes as saying, I'm angry because it's broke. So he goes through all this emotion because that's the first being of awareness of what he is experiencing at that moment. And I want him to, instead of, like, trying to console him, I want him to acknowledge what is the emotion that he goes through, because unhappiness, crying can be result of so many things, like, so any situation, grief, or losing someone, or losing a thing, it can be many aspect of crying, can come from any aspect. So I want him to just acknowledge what is the exact emotion that he feels. That is being aware. The first step, A. Then the second thing is what I do with him is I ask him to, like, take a deep breath and then blow out, like, literally forcefully blowing out the air through his mouth. And what I generally do is keep my hand in front of his mouth, like, like he will be facing here, and I ask him to blow out. So he tries so hard, like, I just move my hand like this. I'll take it out. Like, he just blows out, and then I take my hand. So that way, what happens with the forceful exhalation of the breathe, like, whenever you try to do it, that brings a natural way of getting to a calmness, a place of calmness. So that's what I just practice with him. I just play with my kids actually with this, like, and ask them to blow and then exaggerate my action, like, oh my god, it is flying, my hand is flying, and they get thrilled and they do it again and again. That becomes a small game. And that way, with the breath, they find calmness. And post that, obviously we can talk it out, we can discuss, they are in a much more better state to understand, and they are just out of that state. So that is what the practice I wanted to share is ABC. So obviously for you and me, we cannot play like that. We have to forcefully inhale and exhale for ourselves. Nobody is going to show their hand and then ask us to push. So that being said, yes, being aware of our state. What exactly is emotion? Just don't get lost. I don't know. That is your mind way of blocking you out. Instead, be clear about what exactly is emotion. Objectively, feel it. Then you can talk about breath controlling. When I say controlling, forceful exhalation, like, few deep breaths, and find the place of calmness, and then you can go on to introspect what is exactly happening with you or the situation, instead of sulking or going deeper into the thought realm. So that is the first step that what we're talking about. And that also brings me to a one quick practices. I will share this though. So one of the quick practices, like, saying a sound ha. So this I learned from my sister's mentor. So she, in her video, talks about, like, like anything, like, happens. She talks about saying the sound ha, nothing ha, just, like, kind of let go of the all the emotion, right? Just relieving yourself, right? So that deep breath also somewhere closer to that. But then this is another profound way of thinking is nothing. You don't have to do anything. Just whenever you feel agitated, inner tension or unhappy or something, like, just remind yourself to just say, let go. Then observe for a second. There comes a small inner stillness or a peaceful place, right? So that is a second practice which you can take home. And obviously a lot of other things, I'm sure that you must have heard about it, but then yeah, let's go with that as well. So first is gratitude journal. I'm sure most of you must be already doing some gratitude journals, like, you can three things you're happy every day, maybe in the day beginning or towards the end. If you can keep writing, you're just looking for happiness that already exists in our life, right? You don't have to look for something else. It can be very subtle small things. We can write gratitude journals. And then, like, we sometimes we get overwhelmed, especially for a stress, anxiety, and etc. It is the best thing is to write it down. Sometimes holding it in our mind, it is too painful, right? So that is where they say, make yourself as a counselor, like, you put it down on a paper and then see it as a person, right? I mean, it's a separate thing. The first level of separation is not holding in your mind and trying to figure out things. Writing it down, right? Put it in a paper, keep it separate. That way you seeing it, like, you separating it and then seeing it literally what is bothering me, right? So that way you become the one who's seeing what is exactly bothering you. So writing journals, that's where it comes really handy, and then it helped me in my life for so long, right? So I used to write journal like every day, what happened, what didn't happen. So it helps. Journaling helps. Just that all these habits, sometimes we get bored of it and then leave it somewhere in between, right? So that's what happens. And obviously, Oponopono is another exercise which we talked about. It is as simple as that. You can do it for anything in our life. When I say anything, it can be for people. The past that we are not unresolved past, rather. With people, situation, anything, we cannot just say, I love you. For the pure energy situation that helped me to realize something itself, I love you for that. Not just going on pointing a specific issue with a situation, person, or your inner self. Rather, you love them for bringing some notice or attention. That's all it is. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me and thank you. We can do this in a very creative way. Trust me, it is not just limited to people, situation, or a past, or including, like, the future. We can become so creative. We can practice it all the time. Like, so I used to work with this for my leg pain. Like, when I say leg pain, how can you love your leg pain? I'll say I love you because the pain reminds me that I did something wrong to cause that pain, right? I did something wrong. Maybe like, if I'm getting a gout attack, that is uric acid, maybe I would have just drank some few Red Bulls so that the Red Bull act as a like, trigger for that pain to come. So I believe that you are giving me a wonderful insight that I should let go of the Red Bull or something caffeine or something. So that way, I love you for the very expression and for reminding me I love you for that. And I'm sorry for causing you to manifest into the pain. And please forgive me for drinking the Red Bull and then making you come out and showing me the pain. And I'll say thank you for being there. That's all, right? So you can become creative in our life and use Oponopono in endless ways. And the one thing that I wanted to talk about is two quick things, then we can go to the practices. The first one, as I said, what if, like, every day morning, the what if there is nothing wrong with me exercise. You can practice this any day. Like, stand in front of a mirror. And by the way, that side there is a mirror, so that's why I look that side, right? So you stand in front of the mirror and gently look into your eyes. Like, most of us, we don't even have a guts to look into our eyes to eye. Like, obviously we look at mirror for combing our hair and etc. But then, if you keenly notice, we don't take a moment or one specific time to look into our own eyes in the mirror. Have you ever noticed that? I used to do it. Maybe for me, I'm weird, so I don't know. So sometimes we don't even look into our eyes when you're looking at the mirror. So next time, whenever you're in front of the mirror, just look straight into your eyes in the mirror and then tell to yourself, what if, Karthik, what if there is nothing wrong with you today? And see what is the endless possibility that can happen in your life. Allow your life to happen. Don't wait for something else to happen. Allow your life to happen. It is now. The happiness is now. And the final thing is, it is an extract from quantum jumping. And it is, though it's an elaborate, bigger process, but then to give you a small snapshot is of what is quantum jumping is. So in that book, what he talks about is there are endless versions of us in a multiverse. Let's not go deeper into it. But then when you're looking at in a mirror, again, a mirror work, you see yourself as a reflection, but just that you see that reflection as someone else. It is not this person. Like, if I'm looking myself in the mirror, instead of seeing Karthik in the mirror with all the present condition situation, beating myself down, look at that person that who's already, like, overcome all the negative things. He came out of all the suffering. Like, he's your version but in a different multiverse, right? So when you're talking about a multiverse, you and me know that the idea itself is the universe is infinite. So that way, there is an infinite version. An infinite version, you and me can exist in infinite ways in life, in a multiverse, in a cosmic universe. Right? When you're talking about infinity, that's what it is. So there is a possibility that there are infinite earths, and by in that earth, we are also can be infinite beings. One in a desired state, one is not so desired state. We go to that universe and then bring it a reflection of us, and then we can ask them, what have you done today, and then how did you overcome the specific situation? So we can actually have a conversation within ourselves just by imagining the mirror entity or the reflection of us. It is from a different universe, the one who figured all out. You don't need anybody, the counselor. That person can be your counselor because he figured it all out. Just that you have to believe and have the conversation. So that is much more of even a self-inquiry. That practice can come handy in a lot of ways, right? Just a gentle, how did you figure that out situation? What have you done differently? What am I not thinking? You ask, and I'm sure your own self will come out with an answer. So that is another powerful way to self-inquiry and sort out our day-to-day issues and challenges. So that being said, let's move on to our practice, right? So until now, like, if any of the questions that if you may have in some of these things, like, the practice is what we talked about, you can ask now and post that. We'll quickly go into a quick meditation and wrap the day. Anything you want to ask? Okay. So now that no questions, so let's go into a practice session. So what we are going to practice today is, it is a two-step thing. Like, it is what we have done in the past, but this time like we'll make it little more like two things we are trying to combine. So the first part is we have done it for kindness. Like, may I be happy, may I be like, at peace, may I be healthy, allowing ourselves with all the kindness in this world and free ourselves from all the sufferings. That's the first place, that is being kind to ourselves and the people. So we will do that first. Moment we reach inner stillness, we kindly spread happiness for ourselves and for everyone else in this world. Then the second step I want to do is I want to quickly take you through the journey that once we have done a one kind of visualization which is out of body and then go to the space and become a source of consciousness that is one with everything which is manifested, which is nothing but you, right? So we will do that and then we'll come back to the session. And yes, we will the process will be a little more quicker and I will allow you to stay in the place of a stillness for a little more longer, right? Instead of just building a process and then coming back process, I will allow you to be there because I think most of you would have got a hang of what we are doing, right? So that being said, make yourself comfortable wherever you are, whatever the place, position, just make yourself comfortable. Take a minute. So once you're comfortable, before you close your eyes, just mindfully take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. In your next out breath, you may close your eyes. As you're getting comfortable, just scan your body for any kind of a discomfort or tension. If there is any discomfort or a tension, just relax that part of your body. As you got relaxed, now scan your body for any kind of a sensation that you may feel. Just gently scan from your head to toe. If you noticed any kind of a sensation, just acknowledge the sensation for as it is. Now, take a look at your inner state, your emotional state. Without any judgment, without doing a deep understanding of what it is, just acknowledge whatever the emotion it is and accept it as it is. Now, just bring your awareness back to the thoughts. Look at your thoughts. As you know, thought may come, thought may go. It is okay. They are just like ripples. Allow them to settle down and they will settle down naturally. As you became aware of your body and you're aware of your senses and your inner state, as well as you're aware of your thoughts, now it's time to go to a place which is much more deeper within you. And this place, the place which is not bound by the body, not by the senses, not by the emotion, not by the thoughts. It is a place of inner stillness. Gently reach the place of inner stillness within you. As you're experiencing inner stillness, just be there for a minute or two. As you're experiencing inner stillness, it's time to be kind to our own self. So gently repeat the words as I say. To start with, just repeat, may I be happy. Allow yourself to feel the happiness within you at this moment. And second, may I be healthy. Allow yourself to feel the healthiness within you. May I be at peace. Allow yourself to feel the peace within you. May I be safe. Feel the safety and the security that is within you. And finally, may I free myself from all the suffering. Allow yourself to free yourself from all the suffering that you may go through and feel it. The suffering is just evaporating as just drop of waters. It's just evaporating, it's just going away. Just see that. All your suffering is just going away. From this place of happiness, peaceful, healthy, safely, as well as that you freed yourself from all the suffering, now it's time to give the whole world and the whole universe with all these things to them. So gently repeat yourself. And now, as you're repeating, just see that you are a light which is spreading across in a evenly in all direction. So as you say, like, may every being be happy. Spread the happiness to every single being on this planet. Just you being in the light, you're filling everywhere inside the room where you are, then your house, your streets, your community, then the entire place, location, state, country, and the whole planet. Just feel it. Your light is spreading everywhere. And just repeat from there. May every being be happy. Spread the happiness. May every being be healthy. May every being be safe. May every being be at peace. May every being free themselves from all the suffering. From this place of that you spreading happiness, peace, safety, healthy, and freeing everyone, every being on this planet from all their suffering, just observe the stillness within you. From this place of inner stillness, it's time to take a journey out of the body into the space and feel that to be in the stillness and be as a consciousness which manifested into everything and become oneness with everything. So, wherever you are, just imagine yourself that you're stepping out of your body. Gently just imagine the part of you that's stepping out of your body. As you stand out, you can see yourself as your body, which is there. Have a good look at it from a different perspective, though. Now that your body is not holding you, you can walk and go wherever you want. Gently go out of the room wherever you are. Just go out and go to the open space, just out of your house, wherever there is you can. Look into the open space above you, the sky. As you're facing the sky, you can see that how clear it is, and then you love to go there and experience it. Since your body is no more holding you, you're allowed to float on the air. Just float, and you can see that you're becoming weightless and floating above. As you're floating, you can see that your house and everything is becoming small and small. The people, the street, the plants, the trees, cars and bikes, everything becoming smaller and smaller. As you're here, now you can see that you can take a good look at the entire place, the country, and from far distance, everything becomes so small and insignificant to you at this moment. Now it's time to go beyond the earth. Now you experience from here a place where you can witness the whole solar system. Just mentally bring all the planets in front of you, and you being in the space, just mentally bring and imagine they are just around you, just like you're one other planet experiencing all the other planets. From here, you go back one more step further into the deep space. In this deep space, there is nothing but darkness and emptiness. There is nothing there, literally. It is a kind of an unmanifested place, which is before anything that has been created, manifested into things. This is an unmanifested place. Imagine you're there and you cannot see anything there right now, literally. Nothing is there. There is no time, there is no space, there is nothing exists. It is just you as a single being, as a one single consciousness, which is just floating around. Immerse yourself into being that single consciousness in the space. As a consciousness, you don't have any objective, there is no place to go, nothing to achieve. You are already at still and you are at peace. Nothing to be done, nothing to accomplish, but you're already at peace. Just feel the stillness from this place. You being a pure consciousness and the ultimate consciousness, you desire to expand. Just see that a light around you just starts expanding. You're the only consciousness which starts expanding and start manifesting into everything. Just allow yourself to expand into everything. To start with, it can be planets, stars, and everything. Just imagine yourself and manifesting into the whole being. Whole of creation is happening at this moment, and you being the center of all the consciousness. Everything in the universe which is manifested, and then what we witness right now, it is just a reflection of you, which is manifested into this whole world. And from this place, you see everything in the creation is nothing but you. From this place of acknowledgement and from this place of understanding the oneness that you have with every creation if possible, now it's time to come back to one level, to our galaxy. Just visualize the galaxy, then you go in to look at our solar system, all the other planets around us. They are all just a reflection of you. And then you come to Earth and you start seeing the Earth itself is nothing but your consciousness, your being is just manifested into Earth. From this place, you start descending towards your home. As you descend, you can observe the whole forest, plants, water, trees, and everything the houses, cars, and everything. It is just an atom level. It is nothing but a reflection of you. Every being, every animal, birds, insects, and everything is nothing but you. I didn't get that. Could you try again? Everything is you. As you descend further, everything becomes larger and larger. You see them all as a reflection, and gently you land in front of your home. From this place, you enter your home and see yourself walked into your room or wherever you're being there. Just gently go there and look into your body again. And as you enter into your body, just bring your awareness back to the body. As you become aware of your body, your sensation, just realize that you are nothing but the manifestation of everything. From this place, there is a natural happiness. There is a natural state of peaceful state. There is a natural place of safety. There's a natural place which is free from all the suffering. You are just experiencing that stillness from this place. Gently become aware of your body, aware of your senses. Notice the sound and be aware of the sounds around you. As you became aware of your physical being, it's time to come back when you're ready. Just open your eyes when you're ready. You may come back if you're ready. I believe everybody is back. All right. Okay. So that's all it is. And yes, it is kind of like, even as I'm speaking, like, there is some part of me which is at peace, like, which I can feel it. And I'm sure that you're able to experience it as well. That's what I believe. So thank you so much for joining in this practice as well. Yes, with that, we conclude the 21 days journey. And thank you so much for being there. So if any one of you wanted to share a few things, probably you can open up and share.
Hey Karthik, thanks a lot. I know I missed few days, and it's a wonderful journey. I look forward to take this experience forward.
Thanks, Ram. Thank you so much for saying. All right. So the one quick thing that I wanted to tell you is like, so going forward, probably like, we'll have once in a month or once in a week to start with, like, just to meet for an hour or so, just to discuss what is happening in our life and how we can center ourselves with what are the stillness that we are facing or how to be happy for no reason. So generally what we can do is like, 1 hour we can spend in a week to start with, and probably after a month we maybe it can be 1 hour for once in 2 weeks. And the idea is to just connect and share our experiences, and meanwhile I can share and do my best to share a lot of the other tools. And in fact, like, I'm just looking forward to exploring more other tools which can come handy to face our life situation, and I'll share it with you in the group. As well as we can have one session in a week or once in 2 weeks and discuss and how to take it forward with the life. And I expect you all, like, if you can join me in those journey, it'll be wonderful as well. So with that, obviously I've taken so much time today, so thank you so much. See you to all soon. Right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik. The
Thank
past 21 days, I wasn't able to attend all the classes, but whatever we have learned and so many concepts we discussed and you taught us, I hope I'm able to use them every day in my life, every now and then at least.
That's
So
why we're going to
thank you
stay in
so
touch
much
with
for that.
everyone, right? So we're going to stay in touch, and we can discuss and then take it forward. Like, we can deepen the practice. It is not just for 21 days, but then obviously it's for our life, right? So
Sure.
nothing hurts, right? Spending an hour or a two in 2 weeks, I'm sure that is should be okay for our own mental health, for well-being. That's all.
Yeah, well, this was a start for me in a way. So it helps.
Awesome, Sucharita. Thank you so much for joining once again.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye. All right.
Hello.
Yeah, Kanaji. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I'm really thankful to you once again for being there. And your
Sure.
summaries are excellent, right? So I really thankful for that. Like, I cannot express it in words how much you value added for everyone in this group, right? So you being summarizing it, thank you, Tanaji.
Yeah. I am always with you all.
Awesome, Tanaji. Thank you so much
Mm.
for saying that.
And I want to say that there is no end to anything.
Yes.
If we end the program, we
Mhm.
have started.
Yes.
If there is end, there is the beginning also.
You're right. You're right.
Journey,
Completely.
journey has started now,
Yes. Thank
and
you,
we
Raji.
have to go forward with the purpose.
Yes, Tanaji. That's so right, well said, rightly said. Yes, I'm just looking forward to the next session and then when we can connect and then discuss together. Right, Tanaji? So thank you
Okay.
so much. And let's connect again. Probably feel free to ping me anytime. We can discuss in the group personally, anytime, right? Just reach out and then we can take it forward. Thank you so much. And let's end today's call. Thank you so much. Tanaji, I'm ending this meeting.